Welcome everybody to Mike Motivation, where I give you straight up motivation. No cupcakes, no icing, just straight motivation. Today's motivational podcast, I'm going to ask you a couple questions is first question is, have you ever ignored what you knew better? Have you ever ignored something that you knew not to do, but you still did it anyway? I've done that many of times, especially when I was younger. Went through that feeling of I was invincible. I'm the asterisk to the rule. I won't make those same mistakes. I'm going to come out on the other side. Well, here's what happens when you ignore what you know better and do it anyway. You may not make the same mistakes. You make a different set of mistakes than what was made before you. The reason why you should know better on not to do something, because some things, no matter what you do, is not going to be a good outcome. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter how much money you have. It just, some things, if you delve in it, you play around, there's not going to be a good outcome or good results. You can't bypass the consequences. That's what I learned about life. You cannot bypass the consequences on some things. You just can't. There's no way around it. If you go out there and play around, you want to go play in the fire, you probably going to get burned. May not the first time, may not be the second time. Keep playing around, you're going to get burned. Nobody's invincible. Had to learn that. Nobody's invincible. Understanding that you know better before you even do it is one of the wisest things you can do as an individual. To understand that it's not a good idea. To be able to understand that a person's telling you not to do something based on their personal experience or based on what they've saw in their lifetime. To be able to take that and take heed of what that person's saying and applying it to your logic and decision making and let it help you make better decisions. Not going against what you know not to do. Because I'm telling you, you may come out on the other side, but you won't come out the same as before you went in. Went into the wilderness. How about that? If you make it to the end, you make it all the way to the other side, you're not going to come out the same. Probably going to have some scars. Probably going to have some traumas. And sometimes they be self-inflicted if we be accountable. Let me ask you this. Have you ever really sat down and held yourself accountable for some things you did in order to be able to heal and move on? Have you ever forgave yourself for some of the things you did? Sometimes you have to forgive yourself. And the best way to forgive yourself is to really repent and turn from the direction that you're going. So it leads to a path of destruction. So think about that. If you know better, do better. If you don't know better, learn better to do better. Don't just get stuck in not knowing better. Because think about life. Life does not care what you don't know. If you do it, if you accidentally do it, you're still going to pay a price for it. No matter what level you're on, no what you know and don't know. If you do some things in life, you're gonna pay a price for it, whether you knew or not. Whether it's law, whether it's morally. Uh, Young guys out here go out here and have a kid before you get married. I didn't understand that when I was younger. But when you see these things, you start to get that understanding, and you thank God that you were able to not get caught up in the spider web of life. You have kids, you can't go back from that. You have to take care of the kid now. The kid is here. You got to take care of it. Um, if not, you could possibly get put on child support. That's just how the game go. Been happening for years. So when you see dudes out here complaining about that, did they take account to? Did they think about before the decision to go down the path that led to having the kid? You got to think about or explore all the consequences that can happen from a decision or choice that you make. It will help you make better decisions. I guarantee you it will. If you just before you do it, if you just sit down and say, okay, A could happen, B could happen, C could happen. Am I comfortable with any of those consequences? There won't be no complaining. I have to take what come with it. If you can say yes, I can swallow that pill, whatever come with it. Hey, but what I'm telling you is, if you know better, do better. It will help you out tremendously in life. Next question is: have you ever been against what you know? Have you ever had to go against what you know? Some people say that's all I know. Sometimes, depending on what you know, sometimes you have to expand what you know, and it may be going against what you know. Sometimes people, like growing up in the city, mostly they don't know about like education, higher education, and you only know streets. You only know how to survive, but, learning how to maintain, get to a point of stability, and just keep thriving. Sometimes that's past what a person knows, and what I would challenge a person is learn or know, expand on what you know. Don't just stop at a certain place. Keep expanding on what you know. You don't have to tell everybody what you know. Let your results do the talking. But don't be afraid in a positive way to go against what you know, not a negative way, positive way. Sometimes you have to expand your mind and your education and your abilities past what you know. Sometimes people get comfortable. Sometimes you got to get comfortable with the unknown, what you don't know. That's positive in order to grow and increase your value as a man. I don't know about a woman. I'm not a woman, but as a man, you have to be able to try things that's positive that you don't know. I have to stress that positive aspect because everybody starts out not knowing something. It's just what you're interested in, what you like doing. You learn something new, and now you know it. My last question: have you ever had to learn something outside of your wheelhouse? Sometimes it trips a lot of people up. Being able to take on something that you don't normally do or something you've never done before to learn a new skill. Can you learn something outside of your wheelhouse? A lot of times kids in the city and growing up in the city don't have the corporate or education to have that corporate wheelhouse. We almost have to learn from zero. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you have to learn from zero to understand. So when you get to those higher levels, you understand the intricacies of what you do. You can't just steps all the time. Sometimes you have to learn from zero, go from step 1 to step 10. I had to learn something outside of my wheelhouse, like learning IT. Still learning. One thing I learned about life is if you have the ability to figure something out, even if you don't know it, if you have a little apprehension or a little fear, but if you go through the process of figuring something out, you can learn anything that's out of your wheelhouse. You just got to have the confidence to figure it out and learn it. So don't be afraid to learn something outside the house. It may be the best thing you could have learned in your lifetime. It may propel you in life. It may help you get to places you didn't think you would get to. But don't be afraid to learn something out of your wheelhouse. Don't be afraid to positively learn something that may go against what you know, because it may expand on what you know. And don't ignore what you know better. If you know better, do better. If you don't know, learn better to do better. Don't just stop at saying I don't know. You should probably learn it. So with that being said, this is Mike from Mike Motivation, and I give it to you straight up. No cupcakes, just straight up motivation. Hope you like this. Whoever come back and watch this, hit the like button, subscribe, let me know what you think. This is Mike, and I am signing out. Thanks for watching.